Captain Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of HFY, watching the morning sun rise over New Jeju. The planet below looked beautiful from orbit. Green fields stretched across continents that had once been nothing but rock and sand. Gleaming cities dotted the landscape like jewels. 8 million people called this world home. It had taken humanity 30 years to build New Jeju. They had moved mountains, created oceans, and turned a dead rock into a living world. Children played in parks where their grandparents had worn breathing masks. The orbital shipyards around the planet built faster ships than Earth could manage. New Jeju was proof that humans belonged among the stars. "Captain, we have contacts at the edge of the system," said Lieutenant Yoon Sik at the sensor station. His voice carried worry. Hyunwoo moved to look at the displays. 6 large objects had appeared near the outer planets. They were bigger than anything in the human fleet. "Much bigger. Are they ships?" Hyunwoo asked. "I think so, sir. But they're like nothing I've ever seen." Dr. So Young Kim hurried onto the bridge. She ran the xenobiology lab on the planet below, but had come up to the station when the alert started. She looked at the sensor readings and went pale. "Those aren't built," she said quietly. "They're grown. The alien ships moved toward New Jeju like hunting animals. They had no metal surfaces or sharp edges. Instead, they pulsed with soft light that ran along their surfaces in waves. They looked alive. "Send a message on all frequencies," Hyunwoo ordered. "Tell them we want to talk." The communications officer tried everything. "Radio, laser, quantum signals." The aliens didn't answer. They just kept coming. "How long until they reach us?" Hyunwoo asked. 6 hours at their current speed," Yoon-sik replied. Hyunwoo activated the emergency channels. Every ship in the system received his call. "All units, this is HFY. We have unknown contacts approaching. Prepare for possible hostile action." The New Jeju defense fleet was small but modern. 12 frigates, 4 destroyers, and 2 heavy cruisers. They had never fought a real battle, but their crews were well trained. They moved into defensive positions around the planet. Dr. Kim worked frantically at her instruments. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. But it's not fusion or antimatter. It's biological energy." "What does that mean?" "I think those ships are alive. Really alive. And they're hungry." The alien ships reached the outer defense line 3 hours early. They had been accelerating the whole time, moving faster as they got closer to New Jeju. "All ships weapons free," Hyunwoo ordered. "Protect the planet." The human ships opened fire first. Missiles and energy beams struck the alien vessels. The weapons hit their targets but barely left marks. The alien ship's surfaces seemed to heal themselves within seconds. Then the aliens responded. The lead ship opened like a flower. From inside came a cloud of something that looked like glowing dust. The cloud spread out and touched the frigate Brave Star. Within minutes, the ship began to dissolve. Its hull turned to liquid. Its atmosphere boiled away. The crew had time to send one message. "They're eating us alive." The destroyer Swiftblade tried to ram one of the alien ships. The ship's biohull absorbed the impact and wrapped around the human vessel like a mouth closing. The Swiftblade disappeared inside the alien ship and was never seen again. "Fall back to planetary orbit," Hyunwoo ordered. "All civilian ships begin evacuation procedures immediately." Dr. Kim watched her readings with growing horror. "Captain, those clouds they're releasing, they're not weapons. They're digestion. The ships are eating everything they touch and growing larger." The battle moved to New Jeju's orbit. The planet's surface defenses opened fire. Massive laser cannons and missile batteries sent everything they had at the alien ships. Some shots got through, burning holes in the biohulls. But the wounds healed quickly. Lieutenant Commander Taemin Choi led the fighter squadrons in desperate attacks. His pilots flew their small ships directly at the alien vessels, firing at what looked like weak spots. Many didn't make it back. Their ships were caught by the digestion clouds and dissolved in space. "Taemin, pull your people back," Hyunwoo ordered over the radio. "Negative, sir. The evacuation ships need more time. We'll keep hitting them." Taemin's squadron made run after run at the alien ships. They lost half their fighters in the first hour. But they bought precious time for the civilian transports to escape. Dr. Kim discovered something terrible. "Captain, I figured out what they are. They don't just eat ships. They eat everything. Metal, rock, water, air, even the planet itself." "What do you mean?" "Look at the atmosphere readings. Where their clouds have passed, there's nothing left. No oxygen, no nitrogen, nothing." Hyunwoo looked at the displays. The alien clouds were spreading across New Jeju's sky like a disease. Where they touched the atmosphere, it simply vanished. The beautiful blue sky was turning black. All evacuation ships, emergency acceleration. Hyunwoo broadcast. Get clear of the planet now. The civilian transports carried as many people as they could. Families were torn apart as ships reached capacity and had to leave. Children cried for parents who couldn't fit aboard. But the ships kept launching, racing to escape before the planet died. The alien ships reached New Jeju's surface. They didn't land, they began to feed. The digestion clouds spread across continents. Forests disappeared in minutes. The oceans began to boil away. Cities that had stood for decades crumbled to nothing. Dr. Kim sent one final message to Earth before the communications satellites dissolved. This is Dr. So-Young Kim on New Jeju. The aliens don't want to conquer us. They want to eat us. Everything. Our ships, our cities, our world, our people. They consume it all. Tell Earth to prepare for extinction. These things are coming and they're hungry for more than we can imagine. Hyunwoo watched from the escape ship as New Jeju died. The beautiful world that humanity had spent 30 years building was gone in 18 hours. 8 million people had lived there that morning. Now only a few 100,000 had escaped. The alien ships, now much larger after feeding on an entire world, turned toward the next human colony. They moved with purpose like predators following a scent trail. They knew where to find more food. As his ship jumped to hyperspace, Hyunwoo made a promise. Humanity would remember New Jeju. They would remember 8 million dead, and somehow they would make these creatures pay for what they had done. Behind them, where New Jeju had been, only empty space remained. Admiral Jin A-yoon stared at the empty space where New Jeju used to be. The rescue ships had brought back video records of the planet's death. She had watched them all. Every second of humanity's first world being eaten alive by creatures that treated planets like meals. 6 months had passed since the attack. Earth and the other colonies were safe for now, but everyone knew the aliens would return. The creatures that had destroyed New Jeju were still out there, growing stronger and looking for their next feeding ground. They call themselves the Devourers, said Dr. Dong-hyun Lee, reading from his report. At least that's what the computer translation systems think they're saying. Their communications are biological, like everything else about them. Jin-A sat in the emergency council room on Luna Station. Around the table were the leaders of every human world and colony. They had been meeting for days trying to figure out how to fight an enemy that ate everything it touched. What do we know about them? Asked Governor Park from Mars. Dr. Lee pulled up holographic displays. They're not machines or technology as we understand it. They're living creatures, but engineered ones. Someone or something created them to be perfect consumers. They eat matter and energy and use it to grow bigger and make more of themselves. How do we kill something like that? Asked General Chen from Earth's Defense Forces. We hurt them, Jin-A said simply. The video records show they can feel pain. When our weapons hit them, they react. They try to avoid damage. That means they can be killed. Jin-A stood and walked to the display showing Earth's industrial capacity. We're going to build the largest war fleet in human history. Every shipyard, every factory, every resource we have goes to one purpose. We're going to hunt these things down and kill every last one of them. That will take years, said the Luna representative. Then we take years, Jin-A replied. They ate 8 million of our people. They destroyed 30 years of work in 18 hours. We're going to make them pay for every life they took. Dr. Dong-hyun was put in charge of Project Prometheus. His job was simple: create weapons that could kill living ships. His team worked in laboratories hidden deep inside asteroids, away from any place the Devourers might find them. We need to think differently, he told his scientists. We're not fighting machines. We're fighting biology, so we use biology against them. The first breakthrough came from studying the New Jeju recordings. The alien ships had nervous systems. They felt pain when damaged. They tried to heal wounds. That meant they could be poisoned, infected, or driven insane. Create viruses that target their neural networks, Dong-hyun ordered. Design toxins that prevent healing. Build weapons that cause maximum pain before death. At the same time, Commander Yoon Ji-han trained a new generation of pilots. These weren't ordinary space fighters. They were hunters being taught to kill living prey. Forget everything you know about space combat, she told her students. You're not fighting ships with weak spots and critical systems. You're fighting animals, big dangerous animals that want to eat you. Her pilots learned anatomy instead of engineering. They studied how to cause pain, how to cripple, how to make their enemies suffer before they died. The training was brutal, but it had to be. The Devourers showed no mercy, and humanity would return the favor. Chief Engineer Wu Jin Nam designed the ships that would carry humanity's revenge. The new Prometheus-class dreadnoughts were built around a single concept: maximum destruction. Every weapon system is designed to kill living tissue, he explained to the engineering teams. Thermal lances that burn hotter than stars, kinetic impactors that shatter bone and cartilage, chemical sprayers that pump acid into wounds. The ships themselves were works of art in destruction. They carried no scientific equipment, no exploration tools, no diplomatic systems. Every cubic meter of space was dedicated to weapons, armor, or the systems needed to keep the killing machines running. Earth's shipyards worked around the clock. Mars converted its entire industrial base to military production. The asteroid belt was mined for materials faster than ever before. Every human settlement contributed to the war effort. But it wasn't just about ships and weapons. Humanity itself was changing. We're not the same species we were a year ago, observed Dr. Mi-Young Cho, who studied the psychological effects of the new Jeju attack. The loss didn't just make us angry. It made us into something new. She was right. Humans who had never held weapons now trained for combat. Children learned about devourers in school alongside reading and mathematics. Scientists abandoned peaceful research to focus on ways to kill. Artists created propaganda showing humans destroying alien ships. The change went deeper than behavior. It was in their eyes, their voices, their dreams. Every human carried the image of New Jeju's death. Every human wanted revenge. Captain Hyun-Woo Park, one of the few survivors from New Jeju's defense, now commanded the new dreadnought Retribution. He watched the shipyards from his bridge as hundreds of warships took shape. "They think they can eat us," he said to his first officer. "They're about to learn what happens when humans get hungry for blood." 2 years after New Jeju's fall, the human fleet was ready. 800 warships of every size and class. Each one carried weapons designed specifically to kill living creatures. Each crew had trained for one mission: find the devourers and make them extinct. The fleet gathered at the edge of human space. Admiral Jin-A stood on the bridge of her flagship, the super dreadnought New Jeju's Revenge. Through the windows, she could see hundreds of ships ready for war. Each one represented humanity's rage turned into steel and fire. "All ships, this is Admiral Yoon," she broadcast to the fleet. "For 2 years we've built and trained and prepared. We've turned our grief into weapons and our anger into armor. Today we begin the hunt." The ships powered up their engines. Weapon systems came online. In the holds, Marines checked their equipment one final time. Everyone knew that some ships wouldn't come back. But that didn't matter anymore. "The Devourers think they can eat worlds and move on to the next meal," Jin-A continued. "They're about to learn that when you eat humans, we bite back. We're not prey anymore. We're predators, and we're coming for them." Dr. Dong-hyun watched from the science vessel Prometheus as the fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace. His new weapons were loaded and ready. Viruses that would drive Devourer ships insane. Toxins that would make them feel every moment of their death. Chemical fires that would burn through their living hulls like acid through flesh. Commander Yoonji's pilots ran final checks on their fighters. They knew the tactics now. How to hurt living ships. How to find the spots that caused the most pain. How to make sure their enemies suffered before they died. The fleet jumped to hyperspace together. 800 ships carrying humanity's promise of revenge. They were heading for the nearest known Devourer world. Intelligence said it was a breeding ground, where new bioships were grown from the consumed matter of dead planets. As the stars shifted around them, every human aboard those ships carried the same thought: New Jeju would be avenged. The 8 million dead would have justice, and the galaxy would learn that humanity was no longer prey. The hunt was beginning. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. What they saw made even the veterans sick to their stomachs. The planet below was alive. Not with cities or forests, but with writhing, pulsing biostructures that covered every continent. Massive organic towers reached into space, connected by webs of living tissue. The entire world had been converted into a breeding ground for devourer ships. "My God," whispered Captain Min Ho-seo from his fighter cockpit. They turned the whole planet into a nursery. Admiral Jin-A Yoon stood on the bridge of New Jeju's Revenge watching the displays. Intelligence had said this was a devourer staging area, but seeing it was different. The planet looked like a cancer growing in space. "All ships, battle stations," she ordered. "We're not here to study them. We're here to burn them all." Dr. Young-Soo Kwon worked frantically at his science station. As the fleet's lead researcher, his job was to gather information during the battle. But what he was seeing challenged everything they thought they knew about the Devourers. "Admiral, the biostructures on the planet are showing massive neural activity," he reported. "I think the whole world is one giant organism now." "Can it feel pain?" Jinhei asked. "Yes, Admiral. I'm reading pain receptors throughout the structure." "Billions of them," Jinhei smiled coldly. "Then let's give it something to feel." The Prometheus-class dreadnoughts Retribution and Vengeance moved into position. Their thermal lance systems powered up, drawing energy from the ship's fusion cores. The weapons were designed to burn at temperatures found inside stars. "All ships commence orbital bombardment," Jinhei ordered. "Burn it all." The dreadnoughts fired first. Beams of stellar fire struck the planet's surface. Where they hit, the biostructures didn't just burn, they screamed. The sound came across radio frequencies, a howl of agony that filled every speaker in the fleet. "They're in pain," Dr. Kwon reported with satisfaction. "Massive pain." More ships joined the bombardment. Kinetic weapons rained down like meteors, shattering the organic towers. Chemical weapons spread clouds of acid that ate through living tissue. The planet's atmosphere began to burn as the thermal lances ignited the biostructure's volatile gases. But the Devourers fought back. Bioships began rising from the planet's surface. Hundreds of them, each one the size of a human cruiser. They moved like angry wasps defending their hive, swarming toward the human fleet. "Fighter squadrons, engage enemy bioships," Jinhei ordered. "Remember your training. Hunt them down." Captain Minho led the first wave of fighters into battle. His squadron had trained for 2 years to fight living ships. They knew where to strike to cause maximum damage and pain. "Target their neural clusters," he told his pilots over the radio. "Make them suffer for New Jeju." The fighters swooped in like hunting birds. Their weapons were loaded with Dr. Dong-hyun's special ammunition, rounds that carried viruses designed to destroy devourer nervous systems. When the bullets hit, they didn't just damage the bioships. They drove them insane. One bioship, struck by viral rounds, began attacking its own allies. Its neural system corrupted by the human virus, it couldn't tell friend from enemy. It bit and clawed at other devourers while shrieking in electromagnetic agony. "It's working," Minho shouted. "The viruses are spreading through their formation." But the human fighters paid a price. The bioships were fast and deadly. They caught fighters in their mouths and dissolved them with digestive acids. Others released clouds of nanoorganisms that ate through fighter hulls in seconds. "Alpha Squadron is down to half strength," reported Lieutenant Soo Jin over the radio. "But we're taking them with us." Commander Subin Park led boarding parties onto damaged bioships that hadn't been completely destroyed. Her Marines wore special armor and carried flame units designed for close combat against living enemies. "Remember, we're not here to capture anything," she told her troops as their shuttle approached a wounded bioship. "We're here to kill, and we want them to feel every second of it." The Marines cut through the bioship's living hull with thermal cutters. Inside, they found corridors made of flesh and bone. The walls pulsed with alien blood vessels. The air was thick with biological waste. "Light them up," Subin ordered. The Marines advanced through the ship with flamethrowers and viral weapons. They burned everything they found. The bioship's screams echoed through its own corridors as it felt itself being destroyed from the inside. "This is for New Jeju," one Marine said as he pumped acid into what looked like a nerve cluster. Dr. Kwon monitored the battle from the safety of the command ship. His instruments recorded something unprecedented. The bioships were learning to feel fear. "Admiral, I'm detecting stress hormones in the enemy formations," he reported. "They're becoming afraid of us." "Good," Jinhei replied. "Fear is the beginning of respect." The battle raged for 3 days. The human fleet lost 2 dreadnoughts and dozens of smaller ships, but they gave better than they got. The viral weapons spread through the bioship swarms like plague. The thermal lances turned the planet's surface into a sea of fire. On the second day, something unexpected happened. A group of bioships tried to surrender. They stopped attacking and sent what the computers translated as pleas for mercy. Jinhei's response was broadcast to the entire fleet. "We don't accept surrender from planet eaters. Kill them all." The human ships hunted down the surrendering bioships one by one. Captain Hyunwoo, commanding the Retribution, personally led the attack on the largest group. They didn't accept surrender from New Jeju, he said as his ship's weapons tore the bioships apart. We won't accept it from them. By the third day, the planet below was a blackened wasteland. The biostructures had been burned away, leaving only rock and ash. The orbital bioship swarms were either dead or fleeing into deep space. Dr. Kwan's final report was grim for the Devourers. The enemy has lost approximately 80% of their forces in this system. The planet is completely sterilized. No biosignatures remain. Admiral Jinne surveyed the destruction from her bridge. Kepler 442b had gone from a thriving Devourer breeding ground to a dead rock in 72 hours. The human fleet had proven something important. The Devourers could be beaten. All ships prepare for pursuit, she ordered. Some of them escaped. We're going to follow them home. The surviving bioships fled toward the core systems of Devourer space, but they carried something with them now that they'd never had before: fear. For the first time in their existence, the Devourers had met a species that was hungrier for destruction than they were for consumption. Captain Min Ho, now promoted after losing his squadron commander in the battle, looked at the burned planet through his cockpit window. They wanted to eat us, he said to his wingman. Now they know what it feels like to be food. The human fleet, regrouped and resupplied from captured bioship materials. Dr. Dong Hyun's teams worked to improve their viral weapons based on what they'd learned. The Devourers had shown new weaknesses during the battle, and humanity would exploit every one of them. We've won our first major battle, Jinne announced to the fleet. But this is just the beginning. There are more worlds like this one out there. More breeding grounds, more bioships. We're going to find them all and burn them all. As the human fleet jumped back into hyperspace following the trail of fleeing Devourers, word of the victory spread through human space. Earth, Mars, Luna, every human world celebrated. Humanity had struck back and won. But in the outer reaches of known space, other civilizations watched the battle records with growing unease. The humans hadn't just defeated the Devourers. They had shown a level of systematic cruelty that shocked even veteran military observers. The galaxy was beginning to realize that humanity might be more dangerous than the Devourers ever were. The victory at Kepler 442b changed everything. Word of humanity's brutal efficiency against the Devourers spread through the galaxy, faster than the human ships themselves. Ancient civilizations that had ignored the young species from Sol suddenly wanted to talk. Ambassador Hye-jin received the first alien delegation aboard Earth's orbital station 3 months after the battle. The Velinar Commonwealth and Thaxian Federation had sent their best diplomats, along with representatives from 6 other major galactic powers. Your species shows promise, said the Velinar ambassador, a tall creature with silver skin and too many arms. But your methods are concerning. Hye-jin sat across from them in the diplomatic chamber, reviewing the translations on her tablet. The aliens were nervous. She could see it in their body language despite their different biologies. What exactly concerns you? She asked. The level of destruction you employed, replied the Thaxian representative, whose species looked like walking trees. The Devourers could have been contained, driven back. There was no need for such thoroughness. They ate 8 million of our people, Hye-jin said simply. They turned our world into nothing. What did you expect us to do? Join the galactic consensus, the Velinar said. Accept territorial restrictions. Learn to coexist. The galaxy has maintained balance for thousands of years through careful diplomacy and strategic withdrawal. Hye-jin studied the aliens around the table. Each of their species was older than humanity, with technologies and knowledge accumulated over millennia. But they all had the same look in their eyes, the look of prey animals discussing how to avoid predators. You've been running from them, she realized. All of you. For how long? The Devourers are a natural force, the Thaxian said defensively. Like storms or solar flares. You don't fight nature. You adapt to it. We don't adapt to things that try to eat us, Hye-jin replied. We kill them. Admiral Jin A-yoon arrived the next day to address the alien delegation personally. She walked into the diplomatic chamber wearing her full military uniform, with medals from the Kepler battle gleaming on her chest. I've read your proposal, she told the assembled aliens. Territorial restrictions. Safe zones. A negotiated peace with the Devourers. My answer is no. Admiral, surely you understand the wisdom of restraint, the Velenar pleaded. Your actions at Kepler 442b have destabilized the entire region. The Devourers are massing their forces for retaliation. Good, Janae said. Let them come. We'll kill them all. You cannot simply exterminate an entire species, the Thaxian protested. Watch us, Janae replied. While the diplomats argued, humanity's war machine continued its work. Fleet Admiral Jae-Sung Kim led Task Force Prometheus on a series of lightning strikes against Devourer outposts. Unlike the galaxy's previous defensive wars, humans actively hunted their enemies across space. We're not waiting for them to attack us, Jae-Sung explained to his captains during a strategy meeting. We're going to find every breeding ground, every staging area, every place they hide, and we're going to burn it all. The human fleet had learned from Kepler 442b. They moved faster now, hit harder, and showed no mercy to anything that even looked like a devourer. Admiral Janae's orders were simple. If it's organic and hostile, kill it. If you're not sure if it's hostile, kill it anyway. Captain Da-Yun Lim commanded the stealth ship Ghost of Jeju, one of dozens of vessels designed for deep reconnaissance behind enemy lines. Her mission was to map Devourer space and identify high-value targets. We're not explorers anymore, she told her crew as they prepared for another scouting mission. We're hunters tracking our prey. The Ghost of Jeju could hide from almost any sensor system. Its hull was coated with materials that absorbed energy instead of reflecting it. The ship could drift through Devourer space like a ghost, watching and recording everything. What Da-Yun's crew discovered was both horrifying and tactically valuable. The Devourers weren't really individual creatures. They were parts of something much larger, a vast biological network that connected across dozens of star systems. It's like a nervous system, reported her science officer, Lieutenant Bo Young. The bioships are just cells in a massive organism that spans multiple galaxies. How do you kill something that big? Asked the navigation officer. One piece at a time, Da-Yun replied, and we make each piece hurt. The intelligence from the Ghost of Jeju changed human strategy. If the Devourers were one giant organism, then humanity would become a cancer inside it. Colonel Sang-Woo Yoon led special forces units that specialized in bioship infiltration. We're going to get inside their ships and poison them from within, he explained to his troops. Dr. Lee's new viral payloads can corrupt their neural networks permanently. We plant the virus, it spreads through their network, and they tear themselves apart. The Special Forces missions were suicide runs. Small teams would board active bioships, plant viral weapons, and try to escape before the ship realized what was happening. Most teams didn't make it back, but the ones that succeeded did incredible damage. Bravo team successfully infected a bioship in the Rigel system, Sang-Woo reported to command. The virus spread to 6 other ships before they could stop it. All 7 vessels destroyed themselves in apparent madness. Dr. Mi-Young Cho worked around the clock to develop new weapons. Each victory against the Devourers revealed new weaknesses to exploit. Her laboratories had become factories of biological warfare. We're learning their physiology better than they know it themselves, she told her research team. Every nerve cluster, every organ system, every chemical process that keeps them alive. And then we design weapons to attack each one. Her latest creation was a neural disruptor that caused permanent agony. Bioships infected with it couldn't die, but they couldn't think clearly either. They would drift through space, screaming on every frequency, until something put them out of their misery. They wanted to eat us, Mi-Young said as she watched test footage of an infected bioship writhing in space. Now they can spend eternity regretting that choice. The other galactic civilizations watched humanity's campaign with growing horror. The Velenar Commonwealth called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The humans have to be stopped, the Velenar ambassador declared. They're not fighting a war anymore. They're committing genocide. The Devourers are a plague, replied He-Jin, who now represented humanity at galactic meetings. You don't negotiate with plague. You cure it. But your methods, protested the Thaxian representative. The level of cruelty you employ. It's unprecedented in galactic history. Maybe that's why you've been losing to them for thousands of years, He-Jin said. You tried to be civilized with things that eat civilizations. Reports came in daily of new human victories. A Devourer supply line destroyed in the Vega system. A breeding station burned to ash near Altair. Bioship fleets scattered and hunted down like animals across dozens of sectors. But it wasn't just the victories that frightened the galaxy. It was how humans fought. They didn't just kill devourers. They made sure the killing hurt. They captured bioships and dissected them while they were still alive. They released viruses that caused weeks of agony before death. They broadcast the devourers' screams across space as psychological warfare. "They're becoming monsters," the Velinar ambassador whispered to his aide after watching a human battle recording. "No," his aide replied, studying the tactical efficiency displayed in the footage. "They were always monsters. The devourers just made them angry." Admiral Jin-A received regular updates from the front lines aboard her flagship. Every report was the same: human forces advancing, devourer forces retreating. The enemy that had seemed unstoppable a year ago was now running from every engagement. "They're falling back to their core systems," reported Fleet Admiral Jae Sung during a strategy conference. "Intelligence suggests they're massing everything they have around their homeworld." "Then that's where we're going," Jin-A replied. "We finish this once and for all." Captain Hyun-Woo Park, now commanding a task force of 12 ships, intercepted a group of fleeing bioships near the edge of human space. Instead of simply destroying them, he decided to send a message. "Broadcast this on all devourer frequencies," he ordered his communications officer. "Tell them we're coming for their homeworld. Tell them we're going to eat them the way they ate New Jeju. Tell them humanity is hungry, and they're the main course." The bioships tried to run, but Hyunwoo's ships were faster. They hunted down each one individually, taking their time, making sure the kills were slow and painful. The final bioship sent what the computers translated as a plea for mercy. "New Jeju didn't get mercy," Hyunwoo replied, and ordered his ships to open fire. As the human fleet prepared for the final assault on Devourer core space, the galaxy held its breath. Every civilization understood what was about to happen. Humanity was going to attempt something that had never been done before: the complete extermination of an entire species. And based on what they'd seen so far, they might actually succeed. 3 years after New Jeju fell, the human fleet gathered at the edge of Devourer core space. What they found waiting for them defied imagination. The Devourer homeworld wasn't a planet. It was a living construct the size of a gas giant made entirely of biomatter. Billions of bioships swarmed around it like antibodies protecting a massive organism. The entire system pulsed with alien life. "My God," whispered Dr. Haewon Jung from the science vessel Prometheus's Fire. "The whole system is alive. The asteroids, the moons, even the space between them. It's all connected to that thing." Fleet Admiral Kyungmin Lee studied the tactical displays from his command ship. Every human vessel in existence had been gathered for this final battle. 800 ships representing the combined military might of every human world. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from the homeworld," reported the communications officer. "The computers are translating it as surrender terms." The offer was broadcast to every ship in the fleet. The devourers would retreat to a single system. They would accept monitoring. They would never again attack human territory. They would even offer reparations, technological gifts, resources, even bioships converted for peaceful use. The galactic community added their own pleas. Representatives from dozens of civilizations begged humanity to accept the surrender. The war had gone on long enough. The devourers had learned their lesson. Admiral Jin Ne-yoon, commanding from the super dreadnought New Jeju's Revenge, read the surrender offer carefully. Then she opened a channel to the entire human fleet. "All ships, this is Admiral Yoon. The enemy wants to surrender. They promise to be good from now on. They offer us gifts and territory." She paused, looking out at the massive bio-construct that had consumed countless worlds. "My answer is no. They all die. Every last one." The order went out across the fleet: no prisoners, no mercy, no survivors. This wasn't a battle anymore. It was an extermination. "Begin the systematic destruction of the homeworld," Jin-A ordered. "But do it slowly. I want them to feel every second of what's coming." The human fleet didn't simply attack. They performed surgery. The bioconstruct was too large to destroy quickly, so they began cutting it apart piece by piece. Thermal lances burned through nerve clusters, causing waves of agony that rippled across the entire organism. Dr. Jung monitored the homeworld's death from her instruments. "Admiral, I'm reading pain responses across quantum frequencies. The screams are reaching every corner of this galaxy." "Good," Jin-A replied. "Let the whole galaxy hear what happens when you eat human worlds." The bioships defending their homeworld fought with desperate fury. They knew they were fighting for their species' survival, but they were fighting an enemy that had spent 3 years learning how to kill them efficiently. Captain Insu Park led boarding parties deep into the homeworld's interior. His Marines carried the latest viral weapons, toxins that would corrupt the massive organism's nervous system from within. "We're inside what looks like a brain chamber," he reported over the radio. "The walls are covered in neural tissue. It's like being inside a giant's head. Plant the viruses," Jinne ordered. "Make it suffer." The Marines spread out through the chamber, injecting viral payloads into every nerve cluster they could find. The homeworld's screams intensified as the toxins began their work. But this wasn't quick death. It was slow corruption, designed to cause maximum agony. Outside, the battle raged across the entire system. Human fighters hunted bioships through asteroid fields made of living bone. Dreadnoughts carved chunks from the homeworld's surface, each cut precisely placed to cause maximum pain. Commander Subin Park, now leading an entire Marine division, fought her way to what intelligence believed was the homeworld's central nervous system. Her troops moved through corridors of flesh and blood, burning everything they touched. "This is for New Jeju," she said as her flamethrower ignited a massive nerve cluster. "This is for 8 million dead." The homeworld tried to defend itself. It released clouds of digestion enzymes, hoping to dissolve the human invaders. But the Marines wore armor designed specifically for biological warfare. The acids that had destroyed ships at New Jeju barely scratched their protective suits. "The organism is adapting," reported Dr. Young. "It's trying to develop immunity to our viruses. Then we adapt. Faster," replied Dr. Mi-Young Cho, working frantically in her mobile laboratory. "Release virus variant Delta 7. If it builds resistance, we'll just make something stronger." The battle lasted 6 months, not because the Devourers were winning, but because the humans wanted it to last. They could have destroyed the homeworld in days, but that would have been too quick, too merciful. Instead, they kept the massive organism alive while slowly dismantling it. They burned away its outer layers, exposed its internal organs, and injected poisons into its bloodstream. They made sure it felt every cut, every burn, every moment of its death. Captain Hyunwoo Park, commanding a task force of assault ships, led the final attack on the homeworld's core. Deep inside the construct, protected by layers of bioarmor and nerve tissue, was the central consciousness, the mind that controlled the entire Devourer species. "There," he said, pointing at a structure the size of a city. "That's their brain. That's what ordered the attack on New Jeju." The assault ships opened fire with everything they had. Not quick-kill weapons, but torture devices designed to cause maximum pain. The brain structure writhed and screamed as the weapons tore into it. "For my world," Hyunwoo said as his ship's main gun fired again. "For my people." The central consciousness tried to surrender one final time. It offered everything: complete submission, technological secrets, even the method to resurrect dead worlds. The galaxy's representatives begged humanity to accept. Jinne's response was broadcast across space. "You had your chance for mercy at New Jeju. You chose to eat us instead. Now we eat you." The final assault lasted 3 days. Human forces carved their way through the brain structure, destroying every neural pathway they found. The homeworld's death scream reached across the galaxy, a psychic howl that every sentient species could feel. When the last Devourer consciousness died, its death cry echoed through hyperspace for hours. Every civilized world in the galaxy felt it, a primal scream of agony and terror that would haunt alien dreams for generations. Dr. Young recorded the moment of extinction from her science vessel. "All neural activity has ceased," she reported. "The organism is brain-dead. The Devourer species is extinct." The human fleet gathered around the corpse of the homeworld. The massive bioconstruct still floated in space, but it was dead tissue now. No thoughts, no hunger, no threat to anyone ever again. Admiral Jinne stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking out at the graveyard they had created. Around her, the largest military fleet in galactic history waited for orders. "All ships, this is Admiral Yoon," she broadcast. "The Devourers are extinct. Every world they consumed is avenged. Every human they killed has been paid for in full." She paused, knowing that her next words would be heard by every government in the galaxy. Let this be a lesson to any species watching these events. Humanity asks for very little. We want to explore, to build, to live in peace among the stars. But if you threaten our worlds, if you harm our people, if you make the mistake of seeing us as prey," the camera focused on her face, showing eyes that had watched worlds burn and felt no regret, "we will hunt you across the galaxy. We will find every world you call home. We will kill everything you've ever loved, and we will make sure you feel every moment of it before you die." The transmission ended, but the message was clear. Humanity had answered the Devourer's hunger with something far more terrifying: intelligent, patient, unstoppable malice. As the human fleet dispersed throughout known space, the galaxy faced a new reality. The Devourers were gone, but humanity remained. And in the fear-filled communications between alien governments, a new phrase emerged: "Never give the humans cause to hate you." Captain Dayun Lim, still commanding the Ghost of Jeju, received new orders as her ship prepared to leave the dead system. Her mission was simple: patrol the galaxy's trade routes, monitor alien communications, and watch for any sign of new threats to human space. "We're not explorers anymore," she told her crew as they jumped to hyperspace. "We're not diplomats or traders or scientists. We're the galaxy's apex predators now, and we're always watching." The story of New Jeju's fall had ended not with humanity's defeat, but with the complete extinction of those who had caused it. 8 million dead had been avenged with the death of an entire species. The galaxy would remember the lesson. Humanity's capacity for both creation and destruction was unmatched among the stars. They could build beautiful worlds and turn them into gardens of life, but cross them, threaten their children, destroy their homes. And they would show you that in all the galaxy, nothing was more dangerous than humans with a reason to hate.